You know, sometimes I'm excited to try a whiskey because I want you guys to try it. Today is all about me. You know, sometimes I think it'd be kind of funny to just sit here for like 7 minutes and drink quietly, making you wonder if I was actually going to say anything worthwhile. But I don't think I'll do that to you guys. That wouldn't be very nice. So let's talk about Joseph Magnus. So Joseph Magnus was in fact a real person, which is something that you don't always get with this kind of a whiskey with a name on it. But in this case, he was a real person, and he had a father who died in the Civil War. After the father died, Joseph had to support his family. He had a bunch of younger brothers, so of course he did what anybody else would do and went and got some jobs, made some money, and kept them fed. But during the course of working, he realized that there was a niche market for wholesale liquor. And by the time he was 26, he kind of turned that into his own little empire and made plenty of money. So he decided to start his own whiskey brand. And this was a blending brand, and it was called Murray Club. Now, Murray Club was well respected and well liked by a lot of people. And part of the marketing here was that Joseph would have people try it. He would give away a free sip, essentially, and say, if you try it, you'll never want to buy something else again. And apparently, that marketing worked pretty well, because the whiskey itself was very well liked and well known at the time. So, this whole thing was great. Everything was going well until Prohibition happened. Now, we've all heard this story a million times before, and unfortunately, the whole business was kind of mothballed. But then around 2015 or so, maybe a little bit before, one of Joseph's grandsons actually found a couple bottles of this Murray Club whiskey, and they were exactly what they were 122 years prior. And he took them to some experts, aka MGP, and said, "Hey, can you recreate this?" And apparently they did, and that's what you're drinking here. So let's talk a little bit about some of the other expressions that Joseph Magnus has. The regular bourbon, which is a triple cask finish of PX sherry, Oloroso sherry, and cognac, is kind of their regular bourbon. They also have the Murray Hill Club, which marries 18 and 11-year-old bourbon with 9-year-old light whiskey. Then the cigar blend, which is finished in Armagnac, sherry, and cognac casks. Today at MGP, master blender Nancy Fraley is kind of the head of blending Joseph Magnus. She takes 12-year-old bourbon and finishes it in ex Oloroso sherry, ex Pedro Jimenez, and ex cognac casks. And that's what you've got right here. It's the closest thing that we can get to that 122-year-old whiskey. So let's go ahead and take a nose and a taste from this. And forgot I had one poured. I think that you're going to love this. If you guys ever have a chance to try this, we'll go into this in the overview, but if you have a bottle, you should drink along with me. Absolutely delicious. So you're getting orange along with some honey, some plums. A little deeper, you're getting some vanilla cake frosting in there. Maybe a little bit of leather. It's interesting because the scents are all very disparate. You can tell them apart. They don't blend together. There's no synergy, but that's fun too. I really like that when you get a whiskey. I like both, really. I mean, if you smell something that's well synergized or well melded or married or whatever, it's hard to pick out different notes. In a case like this, it's just you rattle them off, and it's very easy, and it's fun to train your nose on because you can really pick out those individual notes. All right, so let's go ahead and have a taste. Cheers. Seven minutes go by. This is really, really good. It's a little high ABV. I actually forget what the ABV on this is. So it's 50%. So it's 100 proof. The taste here is cherry. Starts as cherry. The cognac is very heavy influenced here, though. You're getting kind of like a leathery, little bit of like orange in there. Maybe some brown sugar, vanilla, a whole bunch of stuff, actually. Let me try another sip. Oak, lemon. That's most of it. There's probably a little bit more if I were to really dig. I've opened this up with water. As you can see, there's quite a bit gone. I've done my due diligence on this bottle. I've also shared it quite a bit. But in this case, I think that you're going to find some stuff that I might not. I think there's so many different notes. When you're thinking about two different types of sherry and cognac, as well as the, just bourbon barrel that it was sitting in forever, you're going to have a lot going on here. And you do, So definitely take some time with this one if you try it. So let's talk overall. So this is a $100 bottle of bourbon. That is not something to gloss over. That is extremely expensive for a bottle of bourbon. And that could be that is a very big detractor, especially when you're talking MGP. But you also got to think it's 12-year-old bourbon and then some additional time for marrying. It is, really, really, really good. At least to me. I really like this, although I've been very into sherry for a couple of years at this point. It's 50% ABV, but $100. That's tough. It's hard to say that you should buy this for $100, only because I would hate myself if you didn't love it. I love this. I think this is fantastic, and this, for me, is a buy it over and over again. Stock It's tough. Stock It is a tough one for me personally, and I'm giving this just for me. This is not necessarily my rating for you. I am tempted to stock this, but $100 over and over again is a hard pill to swallow. However, I would buy, a Scotch for over $100, and although I would totally still bat an eye, I would also still do it. So if I took that out of it, compared this to maybe some $100 other whiskeys I could buy, I still think this holds up really well, and it's an interesting drink. So take that for what it's worth. Depending on your own finances, $100 for a bottle of whiskey is not a big deal for you. I definitely think you'd be missing out if you didn't pick this one up. If it's something that you would save for, then maybe try it at a bar and see what you think. See if you can get your hands on the Cigar Malt or the Murray Hill. Those are going to be really, really good too. The Cigar Malt I've heard really good things about. But this one's consistent. This is their mainline offering. This one doesn't have batches per se. So I don't know. This one's a tough one for me to really land on an answer for you. I think I'd have to say try it, only because of the price. For me personally, I'm going to buy this again. So thank you for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And remember to check out the links in the description below. There's all kinds of fun Patreon stuff and Discord and website and probably some other stuff too. I don't even know at this point. But subscribe. Just subscribe. And you'll check out all this stuff I do. I do Tuesday Trivias as well. That's really fun. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to go sip this quietly to myself for about 7 minutes. Cheers, guys.